So something that a lot of people aren't really thinking about and possibly just never even thought of is controlled, tolerated conspiracy theories, which are conspiracy theories that are intentionally created for people that think outside the box and oppose official narratives. Now, there's a lot of different examples of these tolerated conspiracy theories, and there's pretty much one that's created for every major event that happens, in even just small events that happen.
It's like Easter eggs in a show where they'll purposely, you think that you found something, found a plot hole, but really they wanted you to notice that.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
they could lead you down the path of a conspiracy theory that they wanted to lead you down. And then you think, okay, well, I figured out the alternative, and you kind of stop analyzing it further.
It stops you from looking into it any further.
Well, it's like 9/11. Like, you either believe the narrative that you're told, that it was a terrorist attack, that's why we had to invade the Middle East, yada yada. Or you believe that it was a controlled demolition, but the planes still hit the Twin Towers and all of that was real. And then there's the third option. Well, really, the third option is what some people think, which is the planes never hit and it was a controlled demolition. And then, like, more recently, we figured out it was like a direct energy weapon. But even then, you really don't know.
So conspiracy theories are really just a form of controlled opposition for people that think that they're awake and they're looking into these situations and believe that there's conspiracy involved, because they're intentionally creating a path for you to follow, which is ultimately still a harmless path and can do no damage to the agenda or the narratives that they're attempting to push. Like with 9/11, like, you either believe the official narrative that there was planes involved, or you believe that there was conspiracy involved and it was a controlled demolition and it was an inside job. But in reality, both of these are not the correct answer, because we know that there was no planes involved. That evidence has been around for long enough now that people should understand that there was no planes involved, and those videos were AI. But they're completely aware that people are going to question the authenticity of these events, and they need to, it's a way to control a situation from all angles. Even the people that believe they're investigating and putting in enough research and time to figure out the truth,
They're still telling the story.
yeah, they're just giving you a fake story. For the people that believe it was a controlled demolition and that there was bombs planted on the inside, this is the path that they want you to follow if you're going to oppose the official narrative. And they go as far as even creating fake eyewitness videos, because there's videos of that time where people are claiming that they heard bombs going off on each floor. And there's several of these videos that went around. So this is what really, like, if you're going to look into the situation, these videos are created for the conspiracy theorists.
Well, and they've probably also had, what is it, central casting? Is that what it is? Where the crisis actors?
Yeah, exactly, the crisis actors.
So those people were probably planted.
Yeah, like, whether it was AI or crisis actors,
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter. They could use either one if they wanted
Right.
to. There was
Well, and
probably both.
It's also like, think of the moon landing. You either believe it happened because you watched it on your TV,
Yeah.
or you believe that it was directed and filmed like a movie,
Exactly.
because they never could have made it AI in the 60s. So
they either want you to believe with the moon landing, they either want you to believe, like, yes, we went to the moon, and then if that's the case, that the person that believes that isn't really going to go searching for answers because they believe that they have the right answer and they were told the truth. But there's obviously people that are going to oppose that story and not believe it, so they let people talk about the conspiracy, about how it was filmed in Hollywood.
or they purposely make things too.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they'll purposely make
They
things
give you
look
clues.
like
how Stanley Kubrick is on film, like, saying,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I directed
and
that.
Buzz Aldrin
The
says
Buzz Aldrin video.
we never went, or refuses to say that they went. And then the tin can that they went up in, it's like they wanted over time people to start questioning it more and more, the authenticity of it, and they purposely make certain parts. It's like going back to 9/11. So they crashed the planes into the Twin Towers, but the hijackers' passports were found in perfectly good condition a couple miles away from...
Yeah.
Like, how? Like, obviously, that's going to be something that draws suspicion and attention.
From the conspiracy theorists.
So, and they do that stuff on purpose. Like, why would they... First of all, it doesn't make sense. Like, that's not possible. That's absolutely not possible.
Yeah.
If the planes actually went in... Like, if they're hijackers, they did have to use their passports to get on the plane. So they had their passports. Would they just throw them out the window?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So it's impossible. So you draw that conclusion. But why? If they planned it and they didn't want you to ask any questions, why would they do sketchy shit and leave behind little clues for you unless they wanted you to follow them?
Exactly. That's why everyone thinks that they're like an investigator and they're truly awake, because they're following the path of opposing the official narrative. But this path is created for you to follow. Like 9/11, this was done from a direct energy weapon. There was no planes, there was no bombs planted on the inside. Yes, it was an inside job, but not in the way that you're thinking about it. It didn't happen the way you believe that it happened. There's no planes and there was no bombs. It was a direct energy weapon. There's plenty of proof to prove this too. You just have to look in the right spots, not in the spots that they planted for you to look.
How did a building over 1,000 feet tall disintegrate and vaporize into thin air? Like, what you're seeing on the videos, like, I was under the impression for a long time that, like, what you're witnessing when you see the, like, implosion, really more than an explosion, was like smoke, kind of in debris.
Yeah.
From a demolition.
Yeah, that's what you would think.
But it really is dust, because this building is literally vaporizing.
If you actually watch it, it clearly doesn't make sense that it happened from planes.
And where did the over 1,000 feet of each tower, all that debris go? And why are the streets covered in paper if the building's literally
on fire and burning?
On fire, collapsed, explosions.
And also the steel at the bottom of the building was still burning days later. Days later, steel was
melting.
Just evaporating. It couldn't have happened. Bombs don't do that. It doesn't. Planes don't do that, and bombs don't do that.
There would be 2,000 feet worth of shrapnel everywhere, and there's not enough to account for it. There's not enough, and there's no bomb hot enough, or no jet fuel hot enough to vaporize a skyscraper.
Right. And then, so that's one of the major examples of a tolerated, controlled conspiracy theory. And then along with the moon landing, that's another one, because they either want you to believe we went to the moon or they want you to believe that it was filmed in Hollywood. There was even the song about it, that, like...
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said in a song about, I don't know, I can't think of the song right now, but something about how they... How they, like, the moon landing was filmed in... I don't know, you guys know what we're talking about. But it was neither of those things, because it was just entirely AI. They wanted to do this and trick people and fake that we go to space, but they knew that people would oppose the situation, so they created the story of how it potentially was filmed in Hollywood, just to mask the fact that they were already using AI at that point. So the reason why we know that this is the case, that these are tolerated conspiracy theories, is simply because you're allowed to talk about these things. Like, if you're on TikTok at all, you notice that, like, people are always talking about getting banned and their videos taken down, because you're not supposed to talk about misinformation. But the misinformation rule is really just in place to hide actual truth. It's an excuse to be able to take videos down if you're saying too much of something that they don't want you to talk about. But for some reason, you're allowed to... For some reason, if you say we didn't go to the moon, or if you say, like, the Twin Towers was a demolition job, the videos will not only stay up, but they'll end up going viral. They technically want you to talk about this stuff, because it's only helping their case. because they remember, they want you to believe one of the two things: the official narrative or the mainstream conspiracy theory. That's
And
like,
sometimes they'll give you a few options. Like,
yeah, there's not always
sometimes
just
you'll
one
have
option
like
either.
3 or 4 stories to choose from, and they're slightly different from one another. But at the end of the day, it's still their
Like the Charlie
stories.
Kirk thing.
And it
There's like
ends up
10 different
being-
conspiracies.
And it also ends up working in their favor because it's more convincing that, oh, well, there's all these different theories that you can, like, how could they possibly, like, obviously they didn't know that we were going to follow all these clues or, like, figure this out. But it's no, they're giving you different options on purpose to make it feel more authentic, like make you feel more confident in, you know what I mean?
Everybody
like,
thinks they're like a top-notch investigator because they're finding clues that were intentionally laid out for them to find and feel like they're connecting dots and putting pieces together. It's a controlled false awakening too, is really what it is, because they're making you feel like you're awake, but in reality that's just it's all intentional.
We're reaching a point in terms of like humanity, and like I think I have this theory about some of the resets, and this is just a theory, but like what if there's some sort of ascension that happens, or like where really instead of like wiping out everybody, 'cause you can't wipe out everybody, right? Because then we wouldn't be
There
here.
wouldn't be anybody.
So, like, the people who, like, actually, the real evil ones are the ones that end up, like, staying behind and then manufacturing, like, the next generations of people. And then it just keeps going on like that until they have enough people
So
again.
there's very few real people left.
And then, like, this great reset happens where you either do get like wiped out by whatever they manufactured. They also, I think every great reset is designed to reset history and to reset all these technological advancements, because if we ever did make it far enough, we would have universal energy. It's almost like, it's like we have proof that it was there at one point, but they stopped that. They made sure that never happened again. And now it's like they'll never let us get to that point. And I do think that some people, like you have the theory about like reincarnation. I think it's more about like
Escaping reincarnation.
well, yeah. I think it's more about like I believe there's like more dimensions than we can really imagine, and what they look like is obviously incomprehensible. But like we could transcend to like a 5D dimension as a collective to kind of escape that reset. Or something along the lines of like an optimal timeline, because there are infinite dimensions and there are infinite timelines. So like as long as you're not feeding into and not like giving them your energy and feeding into all the evil in the world and kind of staying on your own path and trying to reach that optimal like vibration, optimal timeline, like you can get out of here eventually.
Yeah.
Because if there are infinite timelines, then there's a timeline where humanity wins over the evil. And you would never know if you're on your optimal timeline or not. You just something, it's not like you feel a shift. Some people say they do actually. Like they realize that because of deja vu and stuff, they'll realize that they switched timelines or life paths or whatever. But I do think that it's possible to get out of this situation and get out of this hellhole. But you just have to like, they've made it impossible to get there because they're just poisoning us every step of the way.
Right. No, I agree. All right, so we can talk more about consciousness and reincarnation and other dimensions in another video. So basically, like, I'd say Joe Rogan is probably one of the perfect examples of someone who spreads the narrative of tolerated conspiracies. Because basically everything he talks about is a completely mainstream conspiracy theory. What I've learned from posting so much on TikTok and losing a whole bunch of different accounts just in this past year. I've learned what you can and can't say on TikTok, and honestly, it's probably on a lot of apps too. It's probably on YouTube. There's probably a lot you can't say that you'll either get shadow banned or I don't really. We're still new to YouTube, so we don't really know all the rules. But there's a lot of creators that are on TikTok making videos talking about topics that you would think are off limits, and everybody seems to think that the free pass for this is just to say for educational or entertainment purposes only. But this doesn't work, because first of all, I used to say it on one of my old accounts. I used to say it at the end of every single video, and I'd write it on screen for entertainment purposes only. And they would still take those videos down, and I still ended up getting banned. And then even recently, I would still say it sometimes for entertainment purposes only, just as like a security measure. And I'm still having those videos get taken down. So it doesn't really matter if you say that or not. If they don't want you to talk about what you're talking about in a video, they're going to take your video down regardless. It doesn't matter.
Selective censorship.
Yeah, it's very selective. So I'll just use someone as an example. A lot of people are aware of who the fittest flat earther is, and I used to like watching his videos before I started to notice like certain things. Now he talks a lot about fallen angels and Jesus and the Bible and stuff, but his main topic is that celebrities are fallen angels. Now he says in his videos every time that it's just for entertainment purposes only. So people that are watching that are under the impression that like, oh, what he's saying is probably true, and that's why he says for entertainment purposes only, so they don't take the video down. But if that was actually secret information and these celebrities actually were fallen angels, do you think he would be allowed to talk about that stuff? No, he would have been banned a long time ago. He wouldn't be reaching hundreds of thousands of followers, and at the very least he would be shadow banned. But he's not even that. These videos wouldn't be going viral. A while ago, I did post a video talking about fallen angels, and that video happened to go viral. They're completely in control of everything, including the algorithm. So they're in control of which videos go viral and which videos get taken down.
Yeah,
So,
it's not the people. It's not because you saw a video and you liked it or you sent it to your friend.
Yeah,
and then that made it go viral.
that has nothing to do with it. Watch time and all that has nothing. They just tell you watch time is what controls your video going viral. And that may be true if you're talking about something that just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter at all. Something completely random, you're just talking about your day or something. Then it might matter. Watch time might affect that. But when you're talking about conspiracies and like what the mainstream media is pushing and all that, it all depends on what you're talking about, if they're going to allow the video to go viral. When you're talking about things that are what we believe to be tolerated conspiracies, those videos always happen to go viral. So if you were actually like on the right track to figuring something out about a story like 9/11 or the moon landing, why would they be allowing these videos to go viral? Right. You know what I mean? Like
if the truth was actually getting out,
yeah,
and
why,
they felt like
if that was true, they're not going to let that happen.
And it's also way more likely, because I think the argument might come up where it's like, oh well, I've seen videos like that. That's just they didn't have any followers and it didn't have any likes, but like I've seen videos like that before. It's like your videos are getting deleted and you're getting warnings and strikes because you have a following, because you have people that trust you and watch your videos regularly.
Yeah.
They already know that your video will do well because you have followers. So you're going to be the first, they're going to nip that right in the bud, like, immediately.
Yeah.
But then, on the, like, contrary, like, yeah, you might see a video of someone talking about similar things, and it does have, 2 likes, and the person has 80 followers, but it's almost on purpose that they'll keep some stuff like that up, because first of all, they're not gonna do anything with it, and you're also gonna look at that person and see that they don't have any likes and they don't have any followers, so people definitely don't trust them. so this guy's probably just crazy and doesn't know what he's talking about. Versus, oh, this person has 75,000 followers and clearly has people who trust him and like watch his videos. You know what I mean? There's a huge difference between, oh, I saw a video like that and they didn't get banned, when it's, you know what I mean? It's different. It's different. You're going to look at that guy's video and think, oh, he's just crazy. But then in your mind, subconsciously, you're like, oh, well, the censorship, it can't be that bad because they let this guy post a video. No, it's just it's just
because you don't really start having videos get taken down until you kind of like have a good amount of followers, like at least 10K. Like when you first start an account, you can kind of say whatever you want. That's why I use my backup page to say things that I'm too scared to say on my main page, and the videos usually won't get taken down. So Fallen Angels is clearly a narrative that they want you to look into. They almost want you to believe that celebrities are fallen angels, because it's still leading you away from the actual truth behind anything. If that was the actual truth, what makes you think you would be allowed to talk about that on the most censored app? It doesn't make sense.
No.
And that's something else that we kind of wanted to go over, was how heavily they're pushing Christianity and religion on people right now. And a lot of people don't read like thousands of comments every week, but I do, and I pick up on things like this, where every other comment that I'm seeing lately is a bot saying something about Jesus, saying, oh, I'm not worried, Jesus is coming back soon, or Jesus is going to save us, or oh, this was written in the Bible, like we know this. Like it's so overwhelming and obvious if you're actually looking and paying attention. And there's tons of creators right now just talking about
everything ends up leading back to something that was said in the Bible. I again have no problem with what anyone believes in, that's fine. But it does feel very much like it's being shoved down our throats. It feels also like it's this like you feel pressured into it because everyone else around you.
Yeah.
So you feel bad if you don't believe in God or follow the Bible, because everyone else is, and everyone else is saying that we're going to be good. And a lot of people are so desperate to believe anything positive anymore that they're going to go for it, and that's okay. But there is a reason why are they trying so hard to bring we need religion back in schools and Christian families, and we need to go back to that. It's being shoved. And it's
just recently. It's like
it is. I have noticed a huge. Obviously, Christianity has always been hugely popular. There's no doubt about that. But everywhere, even people that I personally know or went to school with or whatever, all of a sudden it's they're talking about God, and I'm like, when did, you probably did have faith in God, but it's gotten, or maybe you weren't sure, but then all of a sudden that's all anyone's talking about. I just don't, and I can't quite figure it out. It could lead back to that. We've talked about it. We're World War III and what they ultimately want.
Yeah, what's about to happen right now?
They're trying to concentrate it as much as possible.
It involves Christians, what's about to happen soon. And the New World Order and the One World Religion. And there's reasons behind why there's millions of bots right now all saying the same thing about Jesus coming back. And bots have a purpose. They're being set up and programmed to say certain things to certain people for however long and at a certain time. And it's been recently. And a lot of people probably haven't noticed it, because only creators would really notice this type of stuff.
Well, and if you are Christian, you're probably comforted by it. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
When
Like,
Christians
seeing-
read this
yeah.
stuff, it probably makes them feel better. But because you're not thinking about the bigger picture. That's like it's a form of opposition, controlled opposition. And it's not just Christians. It's
No.
not just that they want. It's aliens too. They're pushing. They're pushing
Aliens.
religion, particularly Christians, or Christianity, and they're also pushing the disclosure of aliens and that aliens truly exist. Like there was the interview that Obama just did recently, talking about the existence of aliens.
And Trump just said he's encouraging his people basically to release classified documents
Yeah.
about aliens and UFOs.
And then there was the Congressman Tim Burchett, or I think that's his name, talking about how they have evidence of different locations in the ocean where aliens have secret bases. And it's all and there's always been talk about aliens, but there's been a lot recently, and same thing with the Christianity, millions of bots all saying the same thing about aliens, and aliens exist and aliens are coming, and this is all preparation for what's about to happen, which is the new world order, the one world religion. And we don't have it all figured out, but we're pretty sure we have a good idea of what's about to happen based on all of our backroom research or internet archives. Molly just is able to get on these sketchy sites that are like scrubbed from the internet, but you can never fully scrub
There's
anything
the
from
Internet
internet.
Archive, which is great, but then there's also a way to block, like if you can actually filter your browser to block any mainstream browser.
You can't use Google, you can't use Bing, you can't use DuckDuckGo.
So you can literally like filter your. So I have like a browser that works, like I'll search something and completely different results show up than if you search it on just without the extensions that I have on there. So that helps. But there's obviously things that they can remove certain things from the internet, but the Internet Archive is great too. And that's another thing, you kind of have to know what to look for on the Internet Archive. And there's a lot of like, you'll go on a website.
And it'll try to shut you down frequently too. Like you go on there,
it's
type
down.
something in, and then it'll just
I
shut
constantly
down.
have to clear my cache and like my cookies, and it doesn't help having like a VPN and stuff. They don't like that. But
there's ways to figure out this
Yeah.
information, and if you actually start putting pieces together, you can kind of get a good idea of where
I can
they're
do
going
I can do a
with all this
tutorial someday on how to do that. How to get your browser to.
stuff. Yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that.
So anyway, what kind of a conclusion that we've come to, which again not positive of, but it's like the only thing that kind of makes any sense.
And it relates to it
The
relates
World
to
War
everything.
III
Yeah.
and like the accuracy of what's happening and what has happened and the predictions and everything like that. They're trying to get the most people as possible to follow Christianity and put all their faith in God, so that either it's going to be some sort of like Project Bluebeam type of situation or something like that, but eventually it's going to get to a point where they want all of us to destroy each other. And then whoever's left, they're going to show them an antichrist, maybe a depiction of God that isn't really God, Lucifer himself. But it won't even matter because the people who are left will be so desperate to believe in something, to have a savior, that they will follow in line to whatever they're shown, as long as they're going to be saved from what they just bore witness to, which will be a total annihilation of 90% of people. So, and what I mean by they want us to destroy each other is obviously what they do every day. That would just be, it's on a massive scale and a much more violent scale.
But
where,
once this actually really like kicks in, though, they're gonna they're not just going to watch people destroy each other. They're going to also
Right.
start
Well, they're,
killing
of course,
people.
they're going to play a part.
Well, like step one is they want to get as many people as they can to seek Jesus and God and turn to Christianity, and also believe in the existence of aliens. Those are the two big things. They want Christians and people that believe in aliens or demons. Basically, who their target is.
Well, and then anyone who doesn't, everybody's just going to...
They don't want atheists and non-believers.
Yeah.
Because they only want people left alive who are going to potentially believe and follow this non-human entity that they show them.
And another part of this equation is them wanting so badly, and they have us right where they want us. If you've been online for the past couple months, they want everyone to hate Jewish people
In Israel.
and Israel.
That's a part of their
They
plan.
want you to think, oh, Hitler was the good guy. He was on the right side of history. We should wipe them all out. They're evil. They wrote that story. Hitler was on both sides. It's all part of an elaborate plan.
Yeah.
That's besides the point. But
Well, now that you mention that too, because I had a video a while ago talking about how Hitler was possibly the good guy, and this was before we started looking into this really. And I had a video talking about how Hitler was good, and he may not have been doing the things that we were told he was doing, and might have been reasons that we weren't told for why he was doing the things we were doing. And that video didn't get taken down. It went viral because that's a narrative that they want out there right now. This is what I mean by you learn a lot once you start making videos. You learn a lot from these bots and what videos they allow and don't allow and which ones go viral.
So they really want us to hate Jewish people. These Zionists, the real Zionists, are fake Jewish people. They are not real Jewish people. They do not follow that religion or that code. They act like they do. I don't know if, there is so much to that. We could make a whole video about how that all came about. But all you need to know right now for this point is that the real evil in Israel and what everyone really should be worried about are the fake Jews, the Zionists. The rest of them, the IDF soldiers and things like that, yeah.
Yeah, like Zionists are not real Jewish people. They're intentionally
IDF
fake
is
Jewish
obviously
people.
Horrible. What happened over there is horrible. They're following what they've been manipulated to think is right. And of course there's exceptions to every rule. I'm not going to tell you that every Jewish person is a saint. I'm just saying we can't go straight hate Jews, kill them all, because that's exactly what they want. They want us to, all the atheists and people who critically think about things and don't believe the narratives that they push, to die. They want all Jews to die. They want all Muslims to die. They want everyone else pretty much in the world to die, except for people who can be easily manipulated, or people who have, and I'm not saying this is one and the same, because I'm not going to bash.
We're not saying that all
I'm
Christians
not gonna bash
are easily
Christians.
manipulated.
I'm
But
just saying people who have placed all of their faith in an entity that is going to come and save them are the perfect candidate for what they want to do next. And what they want is a reset, and they want that reset to be founded on the following of what they worship. They want to create a world where an antichrist or Lucifer, or Satan, or Baphomet, or a demon,
some type of godly AI.
a god, is the center of a belief system and a one world religion. That's how they're going to get it. And then they're going to repopulate the earth, and that's going to be what anyone has ever known.
Religion. Exactly.
And whatever. No one will know the difference. Maybe someday, in hundreds of years from now, someone will try and it will be in our position. It'll be a completely different looking world, but they'll figure out that there was a reset.
They'll figure out that the God that they worship isn't real. It's like whatever happened with the last reset, it was started off with Jesus, obviously. And like he definitely wasn't the guy that everyone thinks he is and the Son of God and everything. He was probably just the last, entity that they tricked you with and got everyone to follow. And now we're so far off that track.
And also,
because there's been so much time and people are able to think about this in other ways. Now they're like, all right, it's time for another reset.
There's so much technology now and people talking and information shared. It's gotten out of hand for them. And they need to I think that's probably what happens, is either things get too good for people, life gets too sweet, or information is too available, or people are talking to each other too much, and that's when they decide to start this process. But another thing too about placing all of your faith in something or someone that's going to come and save you is I would love to fully believe. I would be a lot happier if I had full faith that someone was coming to save us. But I don't believe that. And that's another thing that they don't want. They don't want you to think that the only person who can save you is yourself. They don't want you to think the only way that we can win this fight is getting up and doing it. They want you to think, all right, well, when it gets bad enough, or when this happened, or on this date, or after this sequence of events happen, like it said in the Bible, then
someone's going to come save you.
And
if you're under the impression that someone is going to come save you, then
you're never going to do anything.
Yeah. You're just going to sit around and wait.
You're going to wait because you know that he'll come at the perfect time when everything is... But how much worse can it get? And this is why they win over and over again.
Like, you understand that if he was real and he was going to come back, he would have came back. It's bad enough. People say, oh no, like just wait, like the rapture, or like he will come, like no. I'm sorry, but that isn't going to happen.
And this is why they keep winning. They keep winning the game. There's a formula that they follow.
Yeah.
And it works every time.
Yeah.
And it's working right now.
And I don't know if we said this, but the reason that it's going to be so easy to manipulate the ones who are left alive, the Christians who are left alive, it's going to be easy for them to believe whatever is shown to them, because at that point they're going to be so tired and stressed out and distraught from everything they just saw, and they're going to feel like God has betrayed them because Jesus didn't come, and they're going to start
anything that
they're going to start to doubt
yeah
their beliefs, whatever they previously believed in. They're going to doubt their faith, so they're going to see this fake savior. That's what they're going to think of it as, and they're going to have no choice.
They're going to take
follow
the hand
and trust it.
They're going to take the hand
because you're going to be
of whoever extends it to them.
They're going to be desperate for relief and something to believe in at that point. And they're the perfect candidates. Christians who believe in aliens and demons. That's who they want, because they don't want they want all atheists and non-believers to die, because if you show an atheist something, they're not going to believe it, let alone follow it and trust it. They're just going to keep opposing the system, where Christians aren't going to oppose it.
Even people who believe in Project Bluebeam. You can believe in God and Project Bluebeam at the same time. And even those people, I feel like, would be dangerous to them, because you are going to be skeptical if they show you something in the sky, because I do think they're building up to that, and this has been a conversation for years. And it's like, we're here now. Like, why do you think they're doing all this disclosure day? And
Nothing's by accident.
For the past few years, it's gotten more and more like frequent, and the intensity of it has increased with this alien thing, where before it was like you were your tinfoil hat if you even talk about aliens. And now it's like, all right, yeah, like it's actually a joke. Like, oh, they'll tell us aliens exist and everyone will be like, okay. Like, groceries still cost $1 million. Like, we don't care. That is a running joke now because we're just there. And that's exactly where they want you, and it's perfect because then you see all these videos, which could be AI, which couldn't be AI, like these lights in the sky and the orbs and the drones and the this and the that and the UFOs, and then all of this, like, you know, they're having meetings about, and then they created the Space Force, and it's like they've been planting so many seeds lately.
Yeah, and over the past 50 years.
Right.
Look at all the movies about space. It's programming you to believe in space. Just look at all the movies about aliens. It's programming you to believe in aliens. They're playing 1,000-year-long game of chess. That's what they're doing, and this is all pre-planned. And that's a big reason why, you know, the story of fallen angels is a tolerated conspiracy theory, because they want you to believe in that. There's a conspiracy theory for just about everything, especially the big events that happen. If you see a theory online, if you see someone talking about a conspiracy theory and the video is going viral, that means that it's completely controlled, because they don't let the real truth get out. They just don't. Like, that's why the video about Pizzagate, about the cabal, got taken down off YouTube, because that was entirely true, and they weren't ready to reveal that information yet.
Except for the Trump stuff. But people got that wrong early on. And that could be a whole nother video too. There's like, they had this planned for so long, and there are these hybrid Freemason-like secret societies, and they had it all planned out like every election, and Trump switched up last minute and didn't do what he was supposed to do and became president, and I don't think they liked that very much. So before, like, The Fall of Cabal is a great documentary, except for the fact that the documentary was kind of centered around the fact that Trump was going to, like, clean house.
Yeah.
And take over the deep state.
A lot of people still think that.
And expose everything.
Trump works for the cabal. He doesn't. He's a pawn in this system.
And people did believe that. So I have, like, there's a couple different ways to think about that. But either way, it's a great documentary except for that aspect. It's not throughout the whole thing. That's not all they talk about. But I do think that he went against the plan, and they kind of had to adapt. So, like, weird shit is happening right now, and maybe like the Epstein thing is like a punishment, because he really didn't have to release those files, but obviously there are reasons why they released them. It's just weird. But anyway, yes, they took that down. You can barely find that anywhere. It would be up, and then it would get deleted, and then it would be up, and it would get deleted. Like,
yeah.
Over, people kept trying to,
Yeah, that was one of the best videos, but it's gone now. But everybody knows anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Everybody knows.
Well, no, you can find it. I forget. There's one app.
Well, it's not
and then
on
there's,
YouTube.
yeah, it's not on YouTube. But there's a different website.
So yeah, tolerated, controlled conspiracy theories is just another form of controlled opposition. Anything you hear Joe Rogan talking about, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, all the big names, and not just big names, because you'll see small accounts that are most likely just bots or AI accounts talking about. That's why, you know what? That's why you see so many, like, bot pages stealing people's videos that are talking about conspiracy theories. Like, I know you've seen these bot accounts where their name is something crazy, like just a random bunch of letters and numbers put together, and then they take someone's video, they take their face and then put it on a green screen with whatever behind them, and because they're pushing these narratives, they want people to believe in this stuff because they know so many people oppose official narratives at this point. So it's all controlled from every angle. There's really nothing you can do besides critical think about this stuff and come up with your own conclusions.
And when you think you've
do your own research.
When you think you've reached the end, like, keep going.
Yeah.
When you think you have your answer, keep going. I'm constantly like,
Or change the question.
you'll see me like sometimes when we're talking, like actively questioning my own beliefs and thoughts. Like sometimes it seems like I'm unsure of something when I'm talking about it. It's because I am. And I'm in my mind questioning and kind of like challenging my thought process, because that's what you have to do. You do have to, in this world, there are very few things that you can put 100% of your confidence in.
But you can put your confidence in us.
Well,
Because we think about this more than anybody you know. It's not even close. Nobody puts as much thought and time into these subjects as us. And we're still new to YouTube and long form content, so our content will get better as time goes on.
we were busy this past week.
Yeah, we were a little busy this past week, so it took a few extra days to finally get this video out.
Keep in mind, we have two.
We also have
Two toddlers.
we have two little kids, so it's pretty difficult. We have
to do these at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys. If you made it through the whole video, thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow on TikTok, Nightfall and Angel, and our new account for YouTube clips, Nightfall and Molly.